All right, welcome to What the Tech, the show that, cuts through all the noise. And today we are absolutely ignoring the usual AI hype. Instead, we're looking at a real present-day danger. And this one has the receipts, hard data, so let's just get right into it.
Okay, let's just start with a number. Right here, -16%. Now look, this isn't some stock ticker or a weird economic forecast for the future. No, this is the actual drop in employment for entry-level jobs, the ones most affected by AI, since late 2022. This isn't a prediction, people. This is happening right now.
So you're probably asking, where on earth did that number come from? Well, it's the big headline from a massive new Stanford study. And here's the kicker. They looked at hard ADP payroll data. We're not talking about online surveys or, a few stories from people. We're talking about actual payrolls. This is really the first time we're seeing the whole AI is coming for jobs thing move from theory to a real measurable shock to the system.
And the speed of this, it's just insane. One of the professors who worked on the study, Eric Brynjolfsson, he said the only thing he's ever seen move this fast was the overnight shift to remote work during the pandemic. Think about that. That's the scale we're on here. This is a massive tectonic shift that's happening in months, not years or decades.
But here's the thing. It's not hitting everyone the same way, not even close. The data shows what the study calls an asymmetric impact. So while you see all these headlines screaming that AI is coming for all the jobs, the reality is way more targeted. And for one specific group, well, it's a lot more damaging.
And man, the divide is it's stark. On one side, you've got your junior workers. We're talking recent grads, right? Their skills are mostly from textbooks, book knowledge. And guess what? That's exactly what AI is great at copying. And bam, they're hit with a 16% drop in employment. Then, on the other side, you've got the senior folks. And they've seen, basically no measurable impact at all. Zero. Why? Because they have an advantage AI just can't touch yet.
And this brings us to the key idea here. It's called tacit knowledge. What is that? It's all the unspoken stuff, the on-the-job experience, the little tricks of the trade that never, ever get written down in a manual. It's the firewall that's protecting the senior people right now, because for all its power, AI can't learn this stuff. At least, not yet.
Okay, so that's the data. That's the what. Now, let's do what we do here at What the Tech and really cut through the hype. Forget the optimistic takes for a second. Let's get into the so what. This is the hard-hitting part. What does this data really mean for the future of your career?
I'm sure you've heard this a million times, right? Oh, don't worry. Just learn to work alongside AI. It's the happy, go-to advice everyone gives. But honestly, it's a dangerously flawed take. It completely misses the main point this data is screaming at us. How are you supposed to learn to work with AI in a job that you can't even get in the first place?
So if that whole work with AI line is just a distraction, what's the real story? What's actually going on? Well, this data isn't just about a few lost jobs here and there. Nope. It's pointing to the very beginning of a huge structural crisis in how we all work.
Look, it's a pretty simple and brutal chain of events. AI is built to do one thing really well: automate repeatable, boring tasks. And what are most entry-level white-collar jobs? About 80% repeatable tasks. So when a company needs to cut costs, where do they look first? The cheapest, most redundant tier, which is the junior workers. And the result of all this? The on-ramp, the very first step into a skilled career, is literally being torn down.
And you know what? This isn't just a problem for some 22-year-old trying to find their first job. This is a ticking time bomb for the companies themselves. They're all chasing these short-term savings right now, but they're creating a massive, long-term problem. It's like corporate rot from the inside out.
The path to total disaster here is painfully clear. Okay, step one, a company guts all its entry-level roles. Looks great on the quarterly report, right? Step two, in doing that, they've just broken their own talent pipeline. No new people are coming in and learning the ropes. And then step three, 5, maybe 7 years down the road, their senior expert starts to retire, and there's nobody there with that crucial tacit knowledge to replace them. They've literally walked themselves right off a skills cliff.
And a study is super clear about this. Companies basically have two choices. There's what they call the augment approach. That's where you use AI as a tool to make your human workers even better. And guess what? That actually leads to more hiring and makes the company stronger. Then there's the replace approach. That's seeing AI not as a tool, but as a replacement for people. And that's the path that leads to the aggressive cuts and, yeah, that skills cliff we were just talking about.
So let's pull all this together. What's the final verdict here? What does this mean for the whole idea of a career? You know, the classic story of starting at the bottom and working your way up. Is that entire idea just broken now?
Yeah, so forget all the talk about warning signs or canaries in the coal mine. This is not some future problem we need to get ready for. The damage is here. It's now. Honestly, this isn't the canary in the coal mine. The data is telling us the bird is already dead.
For generations, the whole promise was simple, right? You work hard, you can climb the career ladder. But what this data is showing us is that the ladder itself is being broken. The very first rungs, those entry-level jobs, they're being sawed right off, leaving the whole thing just hanging there, a few feet off the ground, completely out of reach.
And that leaves us with one last really critical question. The system that made all of today's experts and leaders, it's being taken apart piece by piece. So if we get rid of that first step, the one part of the journey where people gain that priceless tacit knowledge, where are the next experts going to come from? With the first rung gone, who's left to build the next ladder?